his name is Samuel, and he's an experienced. In fact, I don't know what to call Samuel because Samuel is when you say data engineering is there, business intelligence is there, power platform is there. So I don't know which one to place him. So let me just call him a business intelligence expert, or I don't know where to place him. Ah, oh my! So he's a very experienced person, and I know he currently works with a UK firm, and he would come and talk to us about Power BI developer interview question and answers. Because the prayer is that some of us here will start getting interview as fast as possible. By the time, in fact, we don't even need to wait till the end of the program before you start applying for jobs and before you start trying out your interview skills. So this, I told you at the beginning of this our mentorship class that this is also part of the package. We are going to be having sections like this. In fact, we are going to be having another section that will talk about how you can explore foreign opportunities, how you can explore jobs in Europe, Asia, North America, and everywhere. We are still going to have special guests for those kind of sections also. So it's not just about the teaching alone. We're also going to talk about how to explore job opportunities, how you can build a nice resume, and how you can start, positioning yourself for better opportunities in general. Yes, so I present Samuel Moronkeji to take up this section. Thank you for accepting our invite. You are highly appreciated. You have the floor now.
Thank you so much, Benga. Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Hi, Samuel. Yes, we can.
Oh,
can hear
awesome,
you.
awesome.
Hi, Samuel. We can hear you.
Awesome. Okay, I'm trying to place the people talking, but okay. I think I know. I know quite a few people here. Can you see me? I'm actually trying to share my video, but I don't know.
No, we can't see you yet. Okay, we can see you now.
Not yet.
No, we
Oh,
can't. We
okay.
can see you now.
I'm sharing my screen also. So can you see the screen and can you see me?
What we can
Not
see on the
yet.
screen is what are you hoping to get out of this session?
Awesome. Yeah. So cool. Thank you so much, Benga, for that wonderful introduction. Yeah, I don't know if I'm an expert, but I try my best. Let me even start
Don't
by
be
saying
humble. You are an expert. You know that.
let me start by saying I'm a friend of the house. Like, people that know me here know Data Jobs Niger. If I'm not
Mute, so Samuel, you are mute.
okay, sorry about that. So I was saying that Data Jobs Niger, I'm a friend of the house. Everybody that knows me here knows that when I'm not engaged, I try to contribute to the discussions that go on in there, try to learn from people as much as I can. So brief introduction about myself. My name is Samuel, not Mr. Samuel, not Brother Star, just Samuel. Been doing this data stuff for a while now. Yeah, business intelligence engineer, developer, consultant, trainer, whatever it is you want to call it. So I've had experience across consulting to being an individual contributor in a large FMCG, to going to startups, to doing enterprise work. So just doing analytics and business intelligence across different industries, FMCG, pharma, oil and gas, government, etc. I like Power BI a lot. Again, I feel is 8 times out of 10 people don't use Power BI well. Don't ask me where I'm getting my statistics from, but that's what I've seen around from supporting people over the years in different communities. So I'm a big fan of community. I like to teach. I love to teach. Love to share knowledge. Love to learn. Yeah. So today like Gbenga rightly mentioned, we're just going to, I mean, no rigid flow. So you guys are going to, I want the session to be as interactive as possible. Yeah. So, okay, awesome. I was even going to direct people to this thing I'm sharing on my screen. So quickly go to menti.com, use the code there, and I just want to get a feel for what we're expecting from this session. So someone already said enlightened. So awesome, awesome. Again, it's an interactive session. I want us to be as I mean, maybe, just maybe I have a gift for somebody. So again, if you've been in my class before, or I mean, you know that I'm not a fan of, oh, you know something, you don't want to say it because they will say, oh, is it me again? I've answered 4 questions. If you know 4 questions and I'm asking 4 questions and I ask the 5th one and you know the answer, please still say it. This is not, we are not in church or mosque where you're scared to answer questions because the spotlight will be on you. So please, if you know any, if you have answers to whatever it is I'm asking, please just unmute your mic and share your insights. Again, we're all learning together. Okay, writing a convincing CV, test my knowledge, okay, being enlightened. I need more responses, please, more responses. So, like I said, it's not a rigid flow. I'm just here to, I don't want to call it an ask me anything session, but just unblock us basically on Power BI stuff, different journeys where we are at our Power BI, on our Power BI journey. So I have just three answers. I need more. I need more. I need more. I need more. Just write a convincing Power BI developer CV. That's going to be a session on its own. A session on its own, because I see most CVs. I know Data Jobs Nigeria, Gbenga in particular, has done some sessions on CV writing, targeting applications, and all of those things. So, but yeah, we can do one for Power BI because I see some CVs that speak to maybe data generally. But if you see a job that says Power BI developer job, like that is the job role, Power BI developer job, then maybe you need to put your CV in some other kind of way. Okay, what's this session about? Okay, I think this person is just joining. Interview questions. Awesome. Ask plenty questions. Awesome, 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 awesome. Erudition. Who is this person? Who is this person? What does that? I'm still going to speak to this. So all these technical people in the house, technical language, business language. Awesome. Okay, so just to summarize this, people want to understand more about the interview process, especially when it relates to business intelligence and maybe Power BI stack, writing CVs, okay, how to beat imposter syndrome. I like that. How to get foreign jobs. Even I need a session on how to get foreign jobs. Okay. Yeah. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we're aligned. How do I navigate burnout? Okay. Okay. So maybe towards the end, I'm still going to open the floor up so we can ask questions in relation to maybe something I've not mentioned. Hidden knowledge. What does that mean? Okay. Again, next question. So on a scale of this, if we're using zero-based index, on a scale of 4 or 5, 0 to beginner, intermediate, advanced, experts, and God mode, what's your level of expertise? Please, again, I'm not a fan of all these shy people or people that will just, you're an expert, but because you don't want the spotlight to be on you, then you just go and pick beginner. This is the workplace, so maybe story we get
Samuel,
there
for
today
me,
or
I'll
not.
pick beginner. I'm still learning a lot.
Like
I'm a
I watch
beginner.
all your videos. I watch all your videos, and we're going to get to that. The things that really matter, how to differentiate yourself from permits me to use this French, gbogbo ero. How to differentiate yourself from gbogbo ero. So the things that really matter, yeah. So I mean, Gbenga is doing an awesome job on that front. Like all the content on YouTube, I mean, shifting your focus to the things that really matter. Again, don't go and quote me to say building aesthetically pleasing reports do not matter. But I'm saying in an enterprise environment, you find yourself in a, please keep answering the questions as we're talking. You find yourself in an environment where maybe you're in a multi-developer environment. So you're in an organization where maybe you're not even the only developer. Maybe you guys are 3 or 4, or you're the only developer, you're the only Power BI guy, and you're supporting maybe like my former organization. Like I said, it's an FMCG, multinational based in Singapore, but they have footprints a lot in Africa. They were very Power BI heavy. That was the previous job I had before this, my current job. Like Monday morning, over 800 people, actually 800 report users are consuming Power BI content on a Monday morning. Like 800, it's on my CV, like 800 plus people. So that tells you that if you have a Power BI central team, the way you guys are going to be architecting your models, the way you're going to be doing all sorts, enabling self-service, allowing people to build their own reports, all those things, you need to come correct. Like you need to come correct. Do you get? So nobody picked experts. I saw some names on this call that I even know from the community. Okay, nobody picked experts. Well done to you guys. Maybe, well done. So everybody, intermediate is always the safe option. No problem. Okay. Yeah, how often do you use Power Query? How often do you use Power Query? Sometimes, okay. Sometimes daily, okay. Okay, I like the daily people, and I'll tell you why. Daily means that you have a current job that allows you use, that you're using Power BI at work, because I don't want to think if you're just building projects every day, you're building Power BI projects. So these daily guys are people that use Power BI like every day, or have like, yeah, their day-to-day is okay. Sometimes nobody's never awesome. Nobody's okay. Daily still coming. Okay. Now, why did I jump from trying to gauge everybody's proficiency level to Power Query straight? Who wants to unmute their mic and say something? Who wants to unmute their mic and say something? Why do you think I will just, from the overall solution itself, which is Power BI, just jump straight to Power Query? Why am I just obsessed about Power Query? Do I think it's the most important part of a Power BI solution? I mean, why Power Query? Let me check the charts. I think people are, please stop. Don't be, yeah, thank you.
Okay, I think basically the reason why you're asking some of the questions is to kind of have maybe a kind of overview of the kind of people you are dealing with, and to know how to also address some of the requests. Basically, I just think that's why you are asking that question.
Awesome. Thank you, Isaiah. Yes. So the first few questions, I'm just trying to understand the feel for, I mean, Gbenga just hijacked me and threw me into this meeting, and I'm just seeing people. So I want to know the people I'm talking to. Maybe they are the ones that haven't built Power BI, and I'm just preaching to the choir. I want to know. Okay, awesome. Yeah, Alima, saw your, yeah. Alima, can you go then? After Alima,
yeah, I can hear you. Good evening.
Hi,
Good evening, Sama. Good evening, everyone. So, in my own thoughts, why I feel you're asking how often do we use Power BI is because you want to know, because Power Query is where you do your transformation, applied step and everything. So if there's something wrong in your report and you want to inquire what's wrong with it. Is either you check your data model or it's pointing to Power Query. You want to check which step is broken and all that. So it's very important to understand Power Query, and that's why I feel you're asking, and to understand the knowledge of people in the class.
Awesome. I like that. I like you're very, yeah. Do you use Power BI every day? Just checking.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, I'm coming back to you. I've marked your face. Adeni Samson.
Okay, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Okay, from my own point of view, I think the reason why you do that is because Power Query is just like fundamental part of Power BI. It's the first thing you need to know and understand before you start building your dashboard. Let me call it just like a building block of Power BI, because without the Power Query, then nothing to analyze.
Awesome. Spoken like a true Power BI ninja. Awesome. I think Michael, then Jude. We have a lot of things to do. So after Jude, we'll wrap it up. Yeah, Michael.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone.
Hi, good
So
evening.
I feel like yes, like I think Samson said, it's like the fundamental of Power BI, but I feel like Power Query is like primarily its function is it aids the ETL process, that's extract, transform, and load. So if you can't extract, what are you going to use to extract? What are you going to use to transform and load using the Power BI? So basically, that's it for me. And you can't talk about Power BI if you don't talk about Power Query. So that's what I think, though. Thank you.
Awesome, Michael. Jude.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My colleagues has all said what I want to say, but just to add to it, as this class is a Power BI developer class, the reason why I ask how we use Power Query is to know how optimize or how if we have background in making our reports more efficiently, and to know if we have the foundational knowledge or the building block of using Power Query for our daily transformation and data cleaning. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So let me just summarize, right? I mean, everybody, great contributions. I think some people still have their hands up. I'll just be lowering it. I'm not confused. Yeah. So, like you guys rightly mentioned, Power Query is where it all starts. Honestly, you want to architect the most complex Power BI solution, Power Query is where it all starts. I mean, technically, if you're talking technical terms now, your technical solution starts from Power Query. Obviously, in the data management lifecycle, you obviously start from softer things like requirement gathering. You're talking to the business, you're talking to the stakeholders, I think I've been in sessions where Gbenga even was talking, teaching you guys about maybe modeling, so logical modeling, conceptual modeling, before we get physical, before you get to Power Query. But let's just assume, you've spoken to the business and everything. You want to start building, you want to start materializing physical stuff. Now, Power Query is where it all starts. And that means Power Query is where most people get it wrong. It is where it all starts. That's one, if you're taking notes. Two, it is where most people get it wrong. Three, if you know it very well, it is the first place you can differentiate yourself. One, again, it is where it all begins, your technical work. Two, it is where you start implementing. It is where most people get it wrong. Like, if they want to cook beans, before you even do, they're already cooking the beans from Power Query. Three, if you know what you're doing, I'm still going to go into how you are advantaged, the kind of advantages that you have as a Power BI developer, and you don't even know it because you look at some other roles, you'll be like, oh, data engineer, it sounds bish. They are talking Bash, they are talking Airbyte, they are talking Docker. Who are these guys? The unfair advantage that you have as a BI developer, I'm still going to mention it on this call. Most people don't know. Most people don't even know how to sell themselves because all these other overly technical roles, they look down, they just be like, oh, if you guys are just drawing charts, you're just drawing visuals, you're just drawing charts, you just be like, so far your screen is not Visual Studio Code and you're not seeing green and red, you just stay in one corner that, maybe I'm just the graph drawing guy or lady. No. So again, I want to really focus on the last point I made. Power Query is a shorter cut to quickly differentiating yourself. Oh, Samuel, there are no jobs. There are no Power BI jobs. There are no Power BI jobs. Blah, 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 blah. Most people overestimate what they know. And the few they know, they don't even know how to sell it. So on LinkedIn, what you see everywhere is dashboards. Everybody. I tell people to submit their portfolios now. Everybody. Reports. Reports is the tangible thing. It's the output of your Power BI work. Again, hopefully, I'm able to do 1 or 2 demos on this call, so everything is not all boring. I can see 43 people on the call. Everything is not all boring, and I'm going to. But yeah, the what is it called? To set yourself apart. To set yourself apart, there are things that really matter in enterprise development that people actually do not know. And now Power Query is tricky because they just give you a fine interface and you can do anything. So the way people will architect a solution, a junior developer will architect a junior Power BI developer will architect a solution will be different from the way an intermediate Power BI developer will architect a solution, and it will be different from the way a senior person will architect a solution. But from transformation steps in Power Query, you will already know. You can't say you're building maybe after your first 2 or 3 reports that you've built to whet your appetite to start what is it called? To start showing yourself online. By your 4th report, your first 3 reports, you're already doing maybe all these challenges, enterprise DNA, data DNA, maybe analytics, Novi Pro, all these guys. There are lots on LinkedIn these days. I can't even keep track of. Everybody and Federico Pastor, all of them. Every other market day, you're seeing reports and dashboards everywhere. Now, those things are fine. They're like one leg in. In your Power BI job, one leg in at least. If I'm a recruiter, okay, this person is dancing around this tool. Now, to quickly separate yourself, your 4th project may or should not be overly focused on reports. Maybe that's needless to say, oh, you're still going to have a report, but in your write-up, either on LinkedIn or maybe GitHub or wherever it is you want to, or Medium, in your write-up, you really want to show that this project, yes, even though I went through the entire journey from the get data or my extracts to my transformations in whatever, to building my model, to publishing, this project has a focus. I want to talk about the Power Query aspect. And it will not just be, oh, I'm merging, I'm joining. Everything has a reason why you're doing it. So, and that's where you start sneaking in more technical concepts to show the potential recruiter or your audience that you understand what you're doing and you understand, and whatever it is you've built can scale in an enterprise environment. Things like query folding. I know Gbenga has done a couple of content on query folding. I remember maybe back in the day, maybe 3 years, 4 years ago, on different communities, you just see somebody, this, and they will just maybe drop their encode. This is nice, but if 200 people are consuming your work, this will not scale. You don't join 2 tables just because you can. Again, I'm still going to flow this thing down into how you even write, how you even showcase your Power BI strengths on your CV, because people don't see the disconnect. People just do stuff. They can't even relate what they are doing together. The quality of your Power Query transformations, do you know it can save your company money and it can cost them money? Do you guys even know? I'm sure some people know on this call and some people don't. So when you see some people giving feedback to say, oh, don't do it like that, do it like this, you can cost your company maybe, I don't want to give a number now, but you can cost them extra cloud dollars just because you're just joining tables anyhow, you're just doing anyhow. Even in Power Query, that is the BI layer, that's the semantic layer. You can shoot up compute. You can, if you're using gateways, they can, when you refresh, obviously you know that the gateway is just a machine, right? Or just a program that runs on a machine. Usually in an enterprise environment, you want to install it on a machine that is always online. So the quality of your Power Query transformation, that time when you do schedule refresh 7 a.m., refresh this, and your job or your refresh runs again. The quality of your transformation of all your steps that you've done, all those applied steps, you see some people, it will just be long because you can join, you can split column, you can merge. So you're doing all those things. You're eating the DB, you're causing unnecessary compute, you're adding to the dollars, and you can actually, on the flip side, save your company money if you have a very, very good design. So from your data modeling journey, thanks to good awareness, now everybody knows that, the focus has shifted now from DAX. Before it used to be, Marco Russo and these people, DAX, complex DAX. So if I can master DAX, then I know Power BI. But there's more enlightenment in the last 3, 4, 5 years about data modeling being the bedrock of a good Power BI solution. But your data modeling journey, like I said, starts from Power Query. It starts from Power Query. So if you know Power Query, number one, let me let you guys in on a secret. Supporting different companies, banks across, over 7, 8 years now. That is where people cook beans. In most of the not properly architected solutions, it's in Power Query people cook beans. Large fact tables, you'll see they are not implementing incremental refresh. In short, you can't even implement incremental refresh if you don't have query folding. I know some people already know that. Again, I know Benga has done content about that multiple times. So yes, you can be in an interview and somebody's asking you, how do you implement query folding or incremental refresh? How do you implement incremental refresh rather? You say, yeah, range start, range end, you filter this, you go this. But how does it even impact what you do? This is not, again, we're going to do demos. How does it impact what you do as a Power BI developer? Everything starts from Power Query. Somebody showed me a solution recently, an interview. They give you, most of the times, those interviews, they will give you, if I'm interviewing for maybe a junior role, an intermediate role, either I give you access to a DB, a dummy DB, or even a production DB, but a separate, maybe, anonymized data, right? But the schema will obviously mirror what we actually do. It will mirror what we actually do. So maybe I'll just anonymize the data with whatever tool I want to use. Then load it into a table and expose the table to you to say, okay, do this. The first thing I'm looking at actually is not how beautiful your report is. Again, do not go and quote me, because if your report too does not have a minimum level of aesthetics, maybe adoption will be low, maybe. But the first thing you want to solve, the first common problem you want to solve for organizations is, what are the common problems in BI environments? The first thing is usually single source of truth. If you go to any complex data environment, a large organization, a bank, an FMCG, oil and gas, They might say, they won't say it in these technical terms. I'm communicating to you because we are colleagues, we can speak, we are data guys. So if immediately I say single source of truth, you already know what I'm talking about. But you'll be hearing things like, when marketing brings their own numbers, they are getting 240K. HR is getting 100 and kiniko. Someone else is getting, so where is your figure coming from? Where, again, those are the problems you're actually solving. It's just that, excuse me, this tooling, Power Query, your knowledge of star schema design, all those things, the way you gather requirements, the way you surface the reports, the way you enable them for self-service, everything will come together to solve that single source of truth. So on your CV, for the person asking, or sometimes on your CV, it should be there how you drove single source of truth campaign. And you should be able to measure it. Again, we are data guys. You should be able to know what it was before, when you stepped in, what it was, or what it became rather after you stepped in. Again, there's still going to be time for questions. So Power Query is where it all starts. I can say there are like 3 generations of Power Query. I love Power Query a lot, a whole lot. Who knows the 3 generation? I mean, you can do ChatGPT, you can do whatever, but just quickly, just give me answers so we move on. We are 42 minutes into, yeah. 3 generations. I need somebody that uses this thing every day. Somebody that uses this thing every day first. Somebody that, so one of the 5 daily users. Can anybody, if you're not going to speak, then Alima, I'm just going to call Alima.
Truly don't know, to be honest.
Again, this is not a show-off session. It's not a session to for somebody to come and this. We're all learning together. But again, I'm just telling you how in any space that you find yourself, Power BI specific, the things that you can quickly use to separate yourself. I rarely see projects on how focused on the ETL part of Power Query. What I always see is people are just going to breeze over it, and they're just going to know, I split column, I merge columns. And when you even look at the transformations, half of the transformations, if not all, cannot scale in an enterprise environment. So in my mind, I'm just like, these things that you've done, if like when I was in Tolaram, we had a table that was spanning over 120 million rows. If you go to banks, you will see tables that are way larger than that. Yeah. So there was this table that was like 120 million records. If I'm asking you on an interview, how will you handle a multi-million row fact table? It all starts from Power Query. And you cannot just tell me, oh, incremental refresh. Incremental refresh, yes, go ahead. Either you tell me theoretically, and I probe what you said, or you show me a project where you're actually maybe sucking in either from an API or, you pipe something into a cloud database or something, or it might even be on your local where you can just revive it for the sake of the interview, and you're showing me, oh, this has 90 million records, but this was my thought process working with this, because we can all agree, if you're working with maybe 90 million records on your local machine, you should not even be loading everything into your model. So immediately you're telling me, because immediately you do one small transformation, you have to wait. Even if you're using a 32 gig RAM, you have to wait. So immediately I'm getting a sense of, okay, this person can join our team, this person cannot join our team. So the other way, I'm very forgiving. I think I've interviewed some people on this call. I'm seeing some names. I'm very forgiving. If our call is long, it means that we are flowing. So you don't need to have done it, but again, the thought process, you're thinking, okay, so how will you do it? Say, okay, you join us today, and the first table you're working with is maybe a sales table, and it's not your everyday adventure works or Northwind or all those things that Titanic data set, all those things that people have bastardized online. Like this is real world now. how do you navigate 100 million records? So that's me testing your Power Query skills without actually mentioning Power Query, because half of what you're going to do will start from Power Query. The rest will be in what is it called? Will be in your data model. So who wants to even answer that question? Who wants to answer that question? How would you? Yeah, it's here. How would you undo multi-million row fact tables? Like I said, I mean, I think I have somebody on this call that's already doing. Yeah. But yeah, so who wants to quickly unmute and just say something? How would you handle this? I don't want to ask people have already, I mean, there are questions of what is a fact table, what is a dimension table. I don't care if you don't know it. I'm assuming everybody knows it. We all know it. Okay, Olubumi, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you, sir. I just want to try. Something we can do is probably query the source directly, and then using aggregated table, we can then reduce the number of rows returned.
Okay. Can we kick ideas around, or you're running away? You just want to drop your 2 cents and run away? Can I ask you follow-up questions?
Like I said, I don't use Power Query every day, but I'm just thinking around
Awesome.
it.
Awesome. So Olubumi says to go to just use DQ and pre-aggregate. Yeah. Okay. Following show Ajala. Yeah. Pre-aggregate data. Well, I know this name. I know this name. Yeah.
Okay, good evening. Okay, so like Olumi said, that's one way I will also think about. And I think another way is partitioning. So if you have a multi-million data, you can also partition your data. You can partition the table.
Okay. Awesome. Some people are answering on Menti. So if you want to answer on Menti, maybe you don't want everybody to know your voice or whatever, you're just shy. You can answer directly on Menti. Yeah. So following Shoge took us to core data engineering, partitioning, indexing, pre-aggregating. Awesome. Yeah. More answers, please. Is this Osia Tiokase? I think so.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly, but yeah,
I'm
go
just
ahead,
going
please.
to say what I think.
Okay.
I read somewhere recently that I think a problem like that can be handled by just choosing a particular level of granularity to display. Like maybe for each group of record, you just have one record for each of them that somehow summarizes what has happened in the past about them based on what you and the end users agree.
Okay. Granularity. Awesome. I think no one else is raising. So if we go to Menti, we're saying query folding, remove unnecessary columns and aggregations, put it in direct query, choose columns based on requirements. I'll use direct query to select needed data from the source to prevent loading all the data into Power BI. Why am I not going with direct query? Why will I would rather do direct lake or import mode and not do direct query. This direct query people, I think Olubumi too said direct query. Why the direct query is troublesome? If you can run away from direct query, please always try to run away from direct query if you can. We don't want to go into why. Maybe I can share some articles. I'll share some resources with Benga to share with you guys. But direct query, maybe no. Direct query is, let me see, a very good this thing for direct query. Maybe you have, like our guy now, Benga Demo. If you work for maybe government, and for some reason, maybe you guys don't. I mean, there are different use cases for direct query, but I'm just thinking of one off the top of my head. maybe you guys don't trust Microsoft to handle your data. You know, anytime you're doing imports mode, you're actually moving data across Microsoft data centers. I mean, well, wherever your Power BI tenant is hosted, right? So maybe for some reason you guys are government, and although there's even GCC cloud, there's Microsoft this thing, but so you don't even want Microsoft to even process your data at all. So you can just say, okay, you don't want to move your data across the wire. You just want it to sit in your database, and Power BI will connect to it and anything you want to do. But that is offloading real work. That is where the solutions that Folorunsho profiled will really kick in. It means that you need your engineering skills. If you're the solo data team, the core data engineering skills needs to be on point. I mean, your SQL game now. You need to know how to really partition. You need to know how to index. Yeah, I mean, you're not even doing views now. You're going to be doing materialized views, or in SQL Server terms, what we call indexed views, because you're trying to avoid full table scans and all those things, because you need to really come correct. Do you get? That's if you don't want to move but if your data, because I see many people answering different questions. Again, not to exaggerate, I belong to so many data communities, like so many, over on WhatsApp alone, maybe over 20. But I have my favorites, over 20 on Slack. I mean, I'm just everywhere, just trying to learn, yeah. I see people answering these questions, and the first thing they say is direct query. If you have 200 million records in Power BI will gracefully handle it if you design your if you're doing your ETL properly. So things like remove unnecessary columns, awesome. If you don't need something, there's no business. We know it. Some of us even write it as part of our write-ups. But when it comes to executing, we now don't do it. We forget those rules. If a column, if it's of no analytical value, you don't have a business loading it into Power BI. That's extra load. Anytime you click refresh, it's a calculated column, so it's going to process. If it has so many unique values, that's work. If he has little cardinality, maybe 6 distinct values, maybe if it's numeric, maybe fine, you can get away with it because the VertiPack engine itself has some optimizations done under the hood. Maybe. If it's a text field, you're going to pay for it. If it's just a column with only one value all across, you don't need it. You can knock it off, because it's just, I mean, somebody shared an interview they had recently with me, a $paying job, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, let me see what you did in your Power Query before you turn this thing in. And I'm like, why is this column here and worker and something just repeated across all the tables? That's everything that is there. Worker and this worker, and okay, filter, turn on your column profile, column distribution. This is just one value. What is it doing there? Yeah, you want to dice it by, yeah, it's something you can even just add code as a static measure. When the thing turns to 2, maybe 2 values or 3, you can now bring it in. But while it's 1, it's just work, right? So again, I can share an article, I think it's by Chris Webb. Chris, then W-E-B-B. I learned a lot from him back in the day, a whole lot from him. Again, I'm going to talk about that before we close. There are Power BI influencers. No, thank God I'm not mentioning anybody's name. I mean, yes, you can follow influencers, but there are some geeks of the craft. I call them geeks of the craft. They are purists. They are not really, these people that will just in movies, that will just they just like to be behind computers, but they share their knowledge. Those people, they share gems. They might not have a large following. They won't be like all these, your How to Power BI, Bas Domain, all these guys. Not saying, I mean, credit to those guys. Those guys are doing awesome jobs. But there are some people that their website or their blog is not even fine. But the articles they are dropping, you need to have a skill of even knowing how to find those kind of guys. Those guys have saved me. I've used patterns that increased my salary by over ₦1 million. I'm not what's the word we are capping from one of these guys, where, I mean, again, this is a discussion, so we are just ranting. So you need to know how to find some of those guys. If you're talking Power Query, immediately I ask you about Power Query, people are going to say Goodly, Chandeep, or Rick, that's Gorilla BI, or which other people. Those are like the common guys. But then there are some guys really, 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 really. Ben Gribaldo, Imke, those guys are like, they are the guys that would, when they say, again, I'm sorry for the non-Yoruba people here, when they say I work, when something really, really dojo, is those techniques, those patterns that those people are blogged about that will actually really, really save you. So you need to know how to find those guys away from the noise of LinkedIn and people with large followings. Again, you will see some people, they even worked on Power Query itself before they left Microsoft. They worked on the first version. So if you're reading those guys, their books or something, the insight you're going to have will be different from the insight of somebody that just consumed a 1 hour video, 0 to hero, and they're just clicking, oh, merge columns. You don't even know that sometimes you're supposed to change type before you rename, or something will come before something. It seems very small, but all these details are actually what separates. So you need to find what I call unfair advantage. You need to find out your competitive advantage. What separates you from Bugbero? To be exceptional in this field is difficult and is simple. You need to know you've chosen a stack that everybody knows, everybody does. If you go on LinkedIn, everybody's a Power BI developer. Everybody is a Power BI developer. Even our fellow data roles, they look down on, like, a data engineer will just, what are you guys doing here? Are you not just drawing charts and graphs? And I'm like, if we start talking
I
about
have that
data
issue,
warehousing,
Samuel.
okay.
I usually have that issue, sincerely. The way the ETL developer guys and all these data engineers, the way they look down on us, Jesus,
It's
it's
our
really crazy.
fault. It's our fault. It's our fault, actually, because I'm like, so I come from a very, I'll call it a privilege. I was lucky with my first boss. He was even a Microsoft MVP and all of that. So, I come from a very strong on-premises business intelligence stack background. So Microsoft background. So your SSAS, SSIS, SSRS. So when we started migrating customers from just to latch on to what Benga was sharing about all these guys looking down on us. So most of the projects will be migrate from people are moving from SSRS to Power BI, migrating their analysis services and their AAS. So analysis services is the on-prem one, SSAS. AAS is the cloud one, migrating to Power BI. You will see the disconnect. People that just started from Power BI. So what I'm saying is our fault is people that don't know how to sell what they know. And people that don't know just think, oh, I've learned Power BI, there's nothing more to it. That's wrong. So when a data engineer is looking down on you to say this, I've worked with data engineers where I'm the one telling them patterns. Like, I'm like, not to brag, actually telling you data warehousing patterns. You should not be keeping this field on this table. Or how will you tell me, oh, you want to track something, you're not giving me audit keys, created by, modified by, updated by, or things like that. So
God bless you, Samuel, for this thing that I just said now. I'm telling you.
So the thing is, you need to, like, for me, I'm very, very confident because I spent time in the wild. The wild means like learning the basics. What people always do is people don't want to read, they don't want to read blogs, they don't want to read articles, they just want to watch YouTube videos and move on. You just want to watch YouTube videos and move on. The person that's done that YouTube video has read books, read articles, then now summarized it for you. So people just want to pick that. You won't be as grounded as somebody that actually knows why we do stuff. So there are some BI developers that data engineers even like to work with because you will bring out their work. And I will tell them, if you're talking SQL, I will probably even save you. I'll probably save you because let me see your stored procedure. Why are you writing it this way? Like, why are you this should be a UDF. It should be a function that you should just call because you're using this logic on different tables. So the summary of that is understand why we do stuff. And I always say something again. You can't be a great Power BI developer without learning BI agnostic things. What I mean by that is things that are not even native to Power BI, but they are general business intelligence things. Some people, it's Power BI that made them hear facts and dimension for the first time. It's not a crime. But you need an awareness that that thing, before they even gave birth to Power BI, facts and dimension is a BI concept. It is not a tool or tooling specific concept. It is a concept you find either you're using Alteryx or you're modeling yourself with hand using Python libraries, or you're using Tableau, or you're using SAS, any BI tool, Informatica, Power Center, anything that you're doing. Facts and dimension is a concept that is over 30 years old as Kimball. So you cannot, and there are many concepts like that: conform dimension, natural keys, business keys, alternate keys, supernatural keys, late arriving facts, all these things, snowflake schema, constellation schema, galaxy, all those things are not Power BI things. So it's forgivable if Power BI was what introduced you to that world. But one thing you should know is, in short, unlucky in quotes, you're unlucky to pick this stack, because this stack is what is looked down upon even by our fellow data people, and is everybody knows it. So how then do you get the 1,500 pounds job? Or how do you get the, now Carrywise, these different people sending me message to support on this Carrywise themselves are saying over 2,000 people have applied for this thing because of 1 million naira salary, which is great. One thing I've been telling everybody that's been reaching out is, do not lock yourself out already with I saw somebody on DJ and I wanted to comment, but someone else already commented. So I was like, good. Somebody saying, oh, they've already picked who they want to pick. That's not the right mentality. Please, let's drop all those things. That's not the right mentality. They've already picked who they want to pick. Do your own, put your best foot forward. And why I'm saying that is, there are many people winging this thing. There are many people that you think they know. Like, if you go to Twitter data or data Twitter, it's like a cult. Nigerian data Twitter is like everybody dashboard, and you see, oh, I've done 10 Power BI dashboards, I'm not getting the job. And I look at all the projects are the same. There's nothing where you're emphasizing, maybe this is the concept you're emphasizing, where you are just singling out query folding, or you're singling out data flows, or you're singling out something to say, oh, this. So moving on. To answer this question for short, I mean, it's a mix of many things. If I was sitting on the other side of the panel and I asked you, how would you handle a multi-million row fact table? I mean, query folding, it's your avenue to talk about maybe query folding. It's an avenue to talk about how you remove unnecessary columns. It's an avenue to talk about if you have on the assumption that, oh, the tables have already been partitioned, but because you have resource constraints within your local machine or your development environment, you can bootstrap. There's something you can do. If a table is like, say, 20 million records, you can work with only 1,000, only top 1,000, like it's part of your transformation. Top 1,000, you're working with it, you're loading it into your model, you're creating your report, you're publishing to Power BI service. And from the service, I mean, if you have premium, you can use something we call XML endpoint, connect to that model, and remove that limitation, that top 100 or top 1,000 that you put, and let it load everything. You can do that. The aggregation, I mean, there's aggregation again that this person mentioned. Somebody is off. Okay.
Please,
so the aggregation
yourself.
that this person mentioned, there are levels to it. again, the interview is not a place to be shy. Somebody mentioned when we started imposter syndrome. I always even say a little of imposter syndrome is good for learning. If you're learning, even if you are experienced, it's always good to have small imposter syndrome. What that will do for your learning is it will always make you want to learn. You will never get to a stage where you'll be like, I've known everything about this technology. But on interviews is where to keep your imposter syndrome at home. Can you see what I'm saying? Again, these are strategies. There are strategies that I use that have helped me. Imposter syndrome helps you stay on the edge so that you're not comfortable. You always, I mean, Benga and I, we talk, we think, we discuss technical stuff, we discuss work, and there are many things to learn. Many things. So it's even always laughable when people come to me and say, oh, they've done 10 projects on Power BI and they feel they need to expand their stack. I'm not saying don't expand your stack, but don't think, oh, it's because you've mastered Power BI, that's why you are. No, because even me that you're talking to, I know maybe more than you, but I will not even tell you I know everything about Power BI. I mean, there are aspects to it. As simple as it is, we are grabbing data, we are transforming data, we are loading it, we are sharing. For each of those buckets, can it get from 0 to 100 real quick? Yes. Like, yes. It can. Like, you're writing custom functions, when to write custom functions, when not to do stuff. So I think there's a query folding challenge that my boss will even make you do back in the day by this guy. What's this guy's name? 30-day query folding challenge. He works on the Power Query team in Microsoft. He has beards like this. If you say his first name, I remember.
Is he guy in a cube?
No, not guy in a cube. It's a 30-day query folding challenge.
Is it
30-day
Alberto Ferrari and
no, 30 days query folding. I'll get him out. 1 second, please. Yeah, it's not about a cell, but his real name gone. This guy's real name. His Twitter handle is it's not about a cell, but Alex Powers. His name is Alex Powers. This guy. This guy. Can you all see my screen?
yes?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. Yes, we
So
can.
Yeah,
if
we
you
can.
use for the five people that use Power Query at work, you should have gone through this. You should have gone through this 30-day query folding challenge, because concepts like query folding, if you're just picking, maybe you're doing Maven Analytics challenge or all these guys you probably maybe do not need it. They're not even checking for it. But if you're in an enterprise environment, these are the kind of things that would quickly, like you can join a team and in 1 week, they already know, star boy has come or star woman has come, because you are first clearing all the refresh errors on their, what's it called? On the workspace, on all the semantic models, all the data sets that maybe the current Power BI developers have already boboed the team that is due to Kiniko, because you know better. So these are the concepts not to play with. You see me, people will think, oh, maybe I'm just farming Benga when he shares some content and I'll just thumbs up or just put a small comment to say, these are really the things that matter. Because think about it, even if you're not taking Samuel's word for it, and Samuel is just because you are this thing now, you can just think, oh, we should just take your word for it. Even from the angle of everybody does this thing. Everybody is just always report. In short, it's almost the same data set. It's almost the same page navigation. Like that page navigation thing now, you rarely see it in an enterprise environment. That thing on the left field where people will now do home button and something button, they are good for challenges. But in enterprise environments, if you're sharing reports with 300 users, 400 users, you're bundling your reports into apps. If you're using Power BI reports apps come with navigation by default on the left, where you can bundle 10, 20 reports together. You can even create folders for them. So that thing, you already know somebody that is not working in an enterprise environment, or if it's a project, then yes. But in an enterprise environment, all those spending times on home, this. Like I said, like my former company, there was a center of excellence, that's Power BI devs. The normal business users, the everyday guys now, the HR guys, the sales guys, the field guys, they are Power BI people normally. They are people that can do self-service normally. So you people that are now hired specifically for Power BI, you need to know more than them. So we don't even, like, what we even do is overflog, try and make the model very good, build basic reports, but they personalize this report. So if you've built a report, sales by category, they want to see, some other people want to see sales by brand, some other people want to see sales by manager. The Power BI team is not going to build all those different dimension attributes for them. No, you're just going to surface sales by category for them. They know how to personalize that report and swap the fields themselves. So all you need to make sure as the dev is that you're coming correct with your model, because they are consuming your model either with Analyze in Excel or directly in Power BI service themselves, and they are building their own reports. Or even if you're just exposing basic reports to them, by the time they're even showing you the report, they've swapped almost everything on it. But you're sure that the numbers are correct, no matter how you want to slice and dice it. You're doing MTD, that's our own headache to worry about. Again, single source of truth campaign. So if you're selling your value as a BI developer, or specifically as a Power BI developer, these are the things to sell on interviews. How you run single source of truth campaign, how you enforce data governance. People do these things, they don't even know that is what they are doing. If I asked you now, how do you ensure or how do you manage schema drift? Some people just be like, this person is just using technical jargons to bully us. Again, when you're speaking to the business, that is when to speak business terms. When we are speaking to technical people, especially maybe interview, immediately you gauge the audience, and it's a technical person. Technical people, in common language, do not impress them. They want to hear, oh, so deployment environment, my gateway. Okay, we used one gateway. Okay, what about an high availability environment where you don't even want to give time for downtime? Okay, then we use a gateway cluster. What is a gateway cluster? Is when we are spinning up multiple machines so that when one gateway fails, it fails over to the next gateway and all your refreshes can still go through. So if one machine is down, the other one is the one processing all your this. They say, okay, so how do you enforce row level security? That is not the time to be shy. That is not the time to have imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is for learning. Again, you see how I'm jumping up and down, just jumping up and down. Like I said from beginning, I already gave a caveat from beginning. We are just gisting. Hopefully, I'm unblocking some people. How to rethink your Power BI journey is not the people that I don't even forgive at all. The people I don't forgive at all are the people that are in the diaspora and you are looking for Power BI job. I don't understand you. Like, they're everywhere. Why are you looking for Power BI job? They're everywhere. You are the one that you need to go and look for how to sell your Power BI skills or how to deepen it or whatever. They're everywhere. Power BI is like, even if that's not what you want to do, it's something that can be giving you good money for now, till you even now, okay, you want to even me, I'm in the same category. You want to really go into overly technical stack that when people are saying, okay, we are doing this one, we are doing the thing I wrote here about the undue advantage, before I forget, that business intelligence developers have, that they don't even have, that I can even say I'll probably not say it in the data engineering community because I'll just learn from data engineering community. I'll learn everything they're doing, add it to my own. I mean, if you want to look down on me, when we get to the marketplace, you will see that there's value that I bring. If you're talking data warehousing, you can't, because you're a data engineer, pull me aside. If you're talking SQL, you can't, because, oh, he's a Power BI developer, brush me aside. Like, I've honed my skills along those lines. Business intelligence. So I will even probably tell you, oh, how I want my tables. How I want my tables. How you should materialize my tables. And if you're giving me nonsense, I've developed my Power BI competence to a level where I can mimic all those core things myself within the Power BI environment. Way before Fabric came, we were already doing version control in Power BI. Maybe most people did not even know. Like there's this blog we used to consume then, Daniel Otike. That's the name of the guy, Daniel Otike is the developer of Tabular Editor. He had a 4-part series on version control then, before Fabric even came, before CI/CD came into Power BI itself. People already had that data engineering mindset. Me and my colleagues were already breaking Power BI down, like your PBIX file on your system. You will rename, you see that maybe sales or adventureworks.pbix, you will rename that PBIX to ZIP. You will just change that PBIX to ZIP and extract it. You will see like 5 files, the way PBIX comes, even before all these Rui Romano, all those guys, before they now joined Microsoft and now did proper version control that people can use, and they hid it behind pro license and premium license and all those things. Like, people were already, regular Power BI developers were already thinking of version controlling, how to version control their PBIX, because they already had that issue of, oh, V1, V2, new, this. So they were like already borrowing concepts from core data engineering or even software engineering. So if you're not taking anything away from this session, is like, you need to find that, like, if I were applying to that career-wise thing, I can't be intimidated because 2,000 people have applied. What's the worst thing that will happen? Maybe my application will not scale through. But one thing I know, if I don't know anything in this my little years of doing that, is there are many people that actually do not know the foundation or the basics. They are just winging it. So if you've taken time to spend time on the basics, spend time, solidify your foundation, don't let anybody put you down to say this. No. Don't let anybody. The real unfair advantage or that you have as a Power BI developer is you're the closest to the business in the workflow, in the data management lifecycle. You're the closest to the business. Different people can argue different things. Oh, without the platform, that's the infra guys. They will say, oh, without the platform, without us providing, spinning up all the instances of this for you, where will you even build your work? Is valid. I mean, you allow them fleshing the argument. The analytics engineer, we rarely have in Nigeria. That's why if you're a very great Power BI engineer or developer, you will shine. Honestly, you just need to, if you come correct on 4 or 5 reports that are like, what do they say? The business depends on them. Trust me, that's like, you will shine. You will be the executive person immediately. People don't even know it. So people always, oh, data engineers, this, analytics engineers, this. But in the chain of things, you start from platform. I mean, platform engineering is gaining grants now. You start from platform, or what we traditionally used to call infra, to D, to AE, that's analytics engineering. I mean, again, which is depending on what you're doing, because immediately people hear analytics engineer, they just say, oh, DBT. DBT is a tool that embodies the whole concept. Try to version control, all those things. I mean, building modular models and all those things. So infra or platform to DE to AE to DA to DS. Now, or you can say DE can serve both DA or data analyst or BI people, or and DS at the same time, because the way DS want to carry their files might be different from the way a data analyst wants to carry their files. But what I'm saying in essence is you're closest to the business. So in the real world, actually, in the real world, the head of marketing will probably not be talking to the data engineers. What they will be interacting with, their toys are the data products, your reports and your dashboards. So it's easy to actually shine as a BI person. If you focus on the right things, honestly, it's you that you're in the technical domain that you know that maybe I want to learn more technical things. I want to learn more technical things. The bane of doing those core engineering is that the product, the end product of their work is not really tangible as data engineers. So when we do is really, I mean, don't let me say it's not tangible, but is still farther away from the business. So we, or business intelligence engineers that now don't know their value, would think, oh, they are disadvantaged in the workflow. No, you're closest to the business. It was on maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was on this guy's what's it called, YouTube live channel, Seattle data guy, Benjamin Royan, and he was saying he had seen a situation where data analysts, I mean, I'm not saying this is obtainable everywhere, made a proper case for why they should be earning more. Because the real insights actually coming from them. Again, what I usually tell in my training days, in days I used to train up and down in Lagos for different academies, is know your unfair or competitive advantage, no matter where you sit in a chain. This is not to do Feladro Toye or to just be motivating. Samuel and Benga gathered 40-something people on the call and they just started motivating. No technical things, no demo. I really, really apologize. What I really, really wanted to talk about today, maybe Power Query, a little bit of interview stuff and data flows. But I mean, so if you really, really know how to sell, I mean, on my CV any day, anytime, you will see, before I even go into, you will see how I implemented the single source of truth campaign. It's a problem almost every company has. Don't go there. It's a problem everybody has in every company. Almost all companies, except I don't even know. I'm yet to. Somebody will bring a number that is not transparent to everybody, and they will ask, "Oh, why is this?" You see that data set refresh where you see hazard on it and it's not refreshing, or refreshes are taking 36 minutes to load or 20-something minutes to load. People are just writing write-ups on LinkedIn. If you go to those people's companies, that's, I mean, on a lighter note, people are, because data sets are not, they are supposed to be refreshing, 6 minutes. 6 minutes is even for is a lot if it's designed properly. So imagine somebody joining a team and crashing a core data set, or like Microsoft calls it now, a semantic model that takes 30-something minutes or 20-something minutes to refresh, and is refreshing within 3 minutes. There's no way, you can, in that company, you can even, if you're interested in office politics, because you're already getting leverage for you to actually even do more stuff. Do more. It's a common thing. Yeah, Abdullah is saying different numbers for the same metric. Yes. A way to solve this is what we call data flows. I asked, I think maybe someone earlier, the generations of Power Query. There's the Power Query that we do inside of our Excel, our Power BI, our Power Apps. I'm sure we all know Power Query lives in so many of Microsoft's products, and it's just the transformation engine, right? That's like the first generation. That one has limitations because you can't use that logic anywhere. You can't use it anywhere. If you're even using Excel, if the output of your transformation in the first generation of Power Query, that's the Power Query that most of us are used to, is more than 1 million rows, then there's no way to load it inside Excel. You can only load it inside maybe Power Pivot inside of Excel, but you can't load it into Excel directly. Then, more importantly, you can't reuse that logic anywhere. Which, if you're running a single source of truth campaign, you need something. I think I even saw a content. I saw one content from, I think it's still Benga, about conformed dimension. All these data warehousing concepts, conformed dimension. You see, most people,
That was
you
what
see
we
this
did last week.
awesome,
Last week
awesome
class, we
stuff,
talked about dimensional modeling.
awesome stuff, awesome stuff. Like I said, these concepts are not Power BI concepts. They are BI concepts. They are BI agnostic concepts. You should know them as a Power BI dev. Even if that's not where you started from, it's forgivable, but you should not ignore them. They are concepts that are above Power BI. Role-playing dimensions, conformed dimensions, your SCD, slowly changing dimensions from type 1 to type 7, CDC, change data capture, all those things, they are not, if Tableau is the first tool that is introducing them to you, fine, but just know it's older than Tableau. If Power BI is one that is older than Power BI, Star Schema, Snowflake Schema, Galaxy, all those things, they are older than this tooling. So you should be curious about them. You should know them. You should delve deep into them. Another reason why those things might be cheats is that, like I said, on interviews, technical people like technical things. Technical people are not easily impressed, except you start telling them things that sound technical. That's when they look like, oh, this person knows what they are saying. So you need to know what your unfair advantage is. Power Query is one of them. Why? Because most people do not focus on Power Query. Most people, because Power Query even tricks people to not know it, because the ease at which you do stuff, you just click. So direct query, knock it up. With query folding alone, you can handle multi-million. Aggregation, there are two levels of aggregation. There's an aggregation that is coming from your data source where you're saying, okay, this is the grain. I've forgotten who mentioned that. Someone mentioned this is the grain at which something is coming. Maybe it's coming on a daily granularity, and maybe during your business requirements gathering session, you already spoke to them and they just want to see month on month or something. So there's no point going down to the date level. But most people pre-aggregate early. That's why if you even quickly tell me pre-aggregate the data, I will probe it. I will ask you a follow-up question to be sure you really know what you're saying. Because most people pre-aggregate early. Sometimes maybe execs just want to see stuff on a monthly level, but the foot soldiers, maybe the sales guys, the clinicals, they still want to drill down to maybe daily or weekly level. If you've pre-aggregated it, you shut down that grain from them. Then it means you have to go back to your Power Query. Then you have to go and start. So again, you need to know how to gather the requirements properly. So aggregations are on two fronts. Immediately you come into Power Query and you load your data into VertiPark, into the Power BI data model. There is an aggregation that you can do there. It's not with DAX. I don't know if you've seen it before. If you click the ellipses, those three dots beside the tables on the data pane, you will see aggregations. Most people don't click that thing at all. They don't even know what it means. That thing is a machine. Rather than changing your whole model, the mode that you're consuming data from the source to direct query, that thing is a machine, is an optimization technique. Because under is something we call it eats the AGG. AGG. So there are some queries that users would run. Maybe they click on a slicer or on a filter, or if you even have personalized enabled. Again, these are the things that should go on your CV. How you enable the organization for self-service using Power BI. There's a feature that most people actually do not use. You want to build all the possible ways that users are going to consume your reports. It's not possible. Maybe except you're working in a startup, a very small organization, but even startups, because they will say, oh, somebody needs this So like an FMCG, a product table, you have the SKU or the brand name, maybe Indomie IRC 001, Indomie regular chicken. It will have a brand. What's the brand? Indomie. What's the product category? Edibles. What's the color? This one. What's the expert? You have also, I mean, the dimension table. So we know that the attributes, the richer the number of columns or the better you can slice and dice your report. So the richer your analysis will be. Now, you can't possibly build visuals. In short, you're going to clutter the space for all the possible ways your users are going to consume that thing. You need to enable something we call personalize in a way that you're just dragging only one field, only one attribute from the product table to that thing, slicing by the right measure or measures if it's more than one, maybe actual versus target or whatever, and you're done. If they want to see it by brand, they are going to do it themselves within the service, within the app, or within the report. Anyhow, they are consuming those things. Those are the things that separate developer A from developer B. Again, if you're even going to ignore what Samuel is saying, it's just what makes sense. You've picked a stack. Everybody's stack today in analytics is Excel, SQL, Power BI. Everybody is Excel, SQL, Power BI. So that's why most people just be like, I want to go and learn Airflow, Airbyte, DBT, SQL Mesh, Docker, Kubernetes, this one, that one, because they just feel this place is just too cluttered. But it's really a mentality thing. It's cluttered, but people are not really they are not looking for the undue advantage or the unfair advantage that they have. Like you cannot say you're a Power BI developer and you don't even know Kimball. I mean, through it, like I talk Kimball with people that build DBT models steady. Like it's just like your Power BI, like it's the same concept even before Fabric, because there are some things that Fabric now has exposed because the data engineering experience, the analytics engineering experience, so the concept of data lake houses. But those things, if you had an engineering mindset, they like if I say so, why in Power Query you can duplicate a query and you can reference a query. When do you know which one to do? In DBT, what do? You have a raw layer or a raw model, then you stage it, then you have an output. Sometimes you can have raw staging, intermediate, then production, depending on how you want to logically separate this thing. If you reference a query, again, I know DJN has a content on this. If you reference a query, and you duplicate a query, you should know the nuances between both. For duplicate, number one, you're hitting the DB or your data source. If it's not a DB, you're hitting it twice. You're hitting it twice. The original query is going to hit the DB. The second query, the duplicated query, even though you rename it, by the time you run your refresh, is going to hit the DB. It doesn't mean that duplicating does not have its use case. If you reference, again, that one has its own use case. So if you're saying, conform dimension, okay, Mr. Gwengariyema has taught us conform dimension from data warehousing concept. It seems so far-fetched. Maybe even did some Power BI examples and all those things. But you're running a single source of truth campaign, again, solving real problems now, away from the technical stuff. Solving real problems. And what is really the meaning of conform dimension? How can you implement it in Power BI? A second generation of Power Query, which is what we call data flows. So I see many solutions where if it's a project, it's fine. But if it's at work, why do you have date tables in every of your model? You should not have a date table. No, not that you should not have a date table in every of your model. You should not have to materialize a date table from ground up in every of your semantic model. Is wrong. Again, these are ways, and how will you go on your CV? I've said one, single source of truth. Two, you're saving money if you design properly. So instead of having date table every time you have 6 data sets, you're just going to have a data flow that is a date table or a calendar table, just one query. And all your models, the way we get data from SQL Server, get data from Oracle, get data from Mixpanel, get data from Dynamics 365, anywhere, that's how you get data from a data flow. You pick your date table and you now add all other tables. So if you're thinking about it, single source of truth, conform dimensions, that's how to implement it. So that way, if you're in a multi-developer environment, it's not that developer A is materializing their own date table, developer B is and it goes beyond date table. If you think about it, you can extrapolate from what I've said. What bucket of tables fall into that category? Mostly dimension tables. So your dimension tables should really be data flows. Again, you're using one stone. I'm teaching you strategies where you can use one stone to kill 5 birds. If you're writing about your project, most people are aware of Power Query, but now you're writing about your project, you're talking about data flows, technical people are impressed. But in the beginning of your write-up, you're already talking about how your, what's it called? How the aim of the project is to run a single source of truth campaign. Business people are impressed. You're talking their language, you're addressing the problem that they face. So the concept of conform dimensions, even though it's from all these fathers of data warehousing, your Gigo, your Kimball, your Behemoth, all those guys. In Power BI terms, immediately Microsoft announced, was it 5 years ago, data flows or something. People just like, oh, okay, it means that my customer dimension can just be a data flow. For every model that I have, I don't need to materialize a customer dimension again. You don't need to copy your M and open a blank query and paste it there and say, oh, customer, because if you are refreshing 4 data sets, that means you're refreshing customer table 4 times. Again, you're borrowing concepts from data engineering and software engineering, DRY. Do not repeat yourself. So you just have one instance of your date table. I've seen solutions where people even have workspace dedicated to data flows alone. It's only data flows that are there. So you have a data, and it means that if I do, say for example, date table, everybody knows, oh, if you want to do time intelligence calculations, use a date table, blah, blah, blah. And for Power BI specific scenario, the date table must have complete year. So January to December. Most people don't. Most people will just do the date table filter to only their, what's it called? What is in their fact table. Look at the minimum of the fact table, look at the maximum. Even if you're doing that, the minimum should be 1 January. Is the trick question I ask people a lot. Because in the distance of performance, people will just say, so you filter the date table to only the distance that is in your mind, you've done performance optimization, but you've negated a Power BI specific rule that says if you want to take advantage of time intelligence native, so your date YTD, same period last year, all those things, if you want to take advantage of those family of functions, your date table must be marked as a date table. It must have a non-contiguous set of dates. Even though maybe sales did not happen on November 11, you must have November 11 on your date table, and it must have complete years. That complete years, people throw it away. So immediately I'm asking you, we get to the technical bit of the interview, and I'm talking to you, and you're saying, I mean, if I like you, if you've answered some questions correctly, I will nudge you in that direction. So what if you now want to do MTD? You won't be able to, it means you need to write your time intelligence function yourself. So you have to write the whole filter these dates, where this, or you create what we call offset columns to do it. I mean, everything has its place. But you need to understand these things. What is it? You're digging deep. Like you're digging deep, understanding why, understanding that these concepts even transcend Power BI. And if you now want to be a star Power BI developer, there are concepts that you should actually know. So you're saying, oh, conform dimensions. This one again is one of the most critical things to this thing that Abdullah Ahmed said, like different numbers for same metric, because people have immediately you start transforming in different places for the same thing. Immediately you start working on the same object. People can now imagine you're in a multi-developer environment. In my what's it called? Even my current team is, I mean, just scattered everywhere: South Africa, Nigeria, London, I mean, USF. So imagine somebody just picks up, gathers the requirement, picks up the project. They don't even know there's a central logic that you can consume. There's already a customer data flow is there. So you are building a new data set, get data, you can check, even in one data flow, you can have multiple tables. So you pick your dates, or what we call calendar. You pick your, what's it called? Customer. All those dimensions, most times, because again, dimensions are, most people, if I ask everybody on this group now, what are factor and dimension, everybody would give it back to me. Oh, this. Awesome, perfect. But it means that there are ways to treat them. If your dimension table is wide, it's a good thing. So far, you don't have unnecessary things there, and you have things of analytical value there. But your fact tables, you should always try to keep them lean. Another trick question I ask is price. If you're in like maybe an FMCG, the price of a product, where should it live? Should it live on the product table, or should it live on the fact table, say maybe sales or orders table? Where should it live? It's a trick question. I like to ask it. I like to ask it. Just, I mean, humor me. Where should it live? Should it live on the price table, or should it live on the sales table? The answer is it depends. It depends. There are times that it depends on what? It depends on business rule or business logic. If we always sell at a particular price for a particular product, then it should live on the product table. If sometimes it changes, it should live on the fact table. Now, if it changes, it's not as if, oh, because some people will quickly, SCD type 2, I know, SCD type 2. But again, it depends. Are we even selling, like, again, to use Indomie for an example? I mean, it's the same company, right? That owns Indomie, Colgate, Munchies, Minimi, Power Oil. I mean, Lush, all these, almost all the what is it called? Lots of FMCG, you will not even know. Like, it's the same. Oh, I like Minimi, I don't like Indomie. It's the same pocket your money is going to. But I mean, that's another. So the price of Power Oil in Lagos is not even the price of Power Oil in Kano. So how then do you model your data? You need to know. So, but if I just ask you, what I'm really asking is not even a direct, oh yes, it should stay, it should stay. It's really the thinking. It's really the thinking. I just want to, do you really understand this thing? Do you understand use cases beyond CSVs and flat files and adventure works? Do you understand real life, like how things move? So these are easily things that, let me see. These are easily things that are optimizing the model. And I mean, everybody would come at me, what is a star schema? There's a trick question I used to ask about this star schema. You know, what's the star schema? Everybody will say, oh, dimension table connected to a fact table. Then I think I will ask if you have multiple fact tables, is this still a star schema? Then some people will say no. Why? A star schema can have 10 fact tables. Like, it doesn't make it less of a star schema. A star schema is just tables, a bunch of tables related to each other. The main thing that people even leave out is related to each other through a one-to-many relationship, with the dimensions being on the one side. Oh, if I say optimizing a model, now everybody will regurgitate textbook these things to me. Avoid many to many, avoid bidirectional relationship, this. But if they flip all those questions in terms of real life usage, can you still, do you know when those rules, do you know the best practices? Do you know when those rules, that's really. So in anything, if it's separating yourself, I want us to look at this at data flows. Look at it on your own. If I can share questions, what's it called, articles or whatever about it for with you. But look at it, implement it in your work. If you have questions, I'm a geek of the stack. Even now that my stack has even evolved beyond Power BI and all those things, I'm still refactable in the center, surrounded by this definition. When they say surrounded by, again, if you're talking to a technical people, if you're talking to business people, maybe if they say, oh, you guys have been saying this dimensional modeling, this, you can say this. But if you're talking to technical people, you really want to, just because you're trying to, so instead of saying surrounded by, say connected to dimension tables through a many-to-one relationship, and you can go further to say with the fact tables being on the many side and the dimensions being on the, if you get the body language, they want you to say more, you can expatiate further what the one side is and what the many side is. Those are they are not even Power BI lingos. If you carry your SQL clients now, anyone, maybe dbeaver or something, if you open your schema diagram, you see 1 to n. This, all those things, they are what's it called? They are concepts that came before Power BI. If you study computer science in school, database and relational model, they will teach you there in class. So a variation of star schema with normalized dimension tables and normalized fact tables. These are all the people that in interview that I just look at them like, you want to throw me off with big grammar. Normalization. I mean, what does normalization mean? What does denormalization mean? Or when do you denormalize? When do you normalize? Denormalization is just expanding a table to accommodate maybe the attributes of another table. Again, you're on an interview, you want to get your audience. If they are lucky, they shared the names of the people that will interview you tomorrow or 2 days ago, 2 days time with you. You look them on LinkedIn. You look them up. Look at their strengths. Look at their, if a non-technical person is there, you want to, you really want to, and it's part of preparation. Preparation is not just going to jack star schema all over again. No, you look at them. Oh, this person has 13 years of data warehousing. Okay, this person, this one is just the HR. This person, okay. This is this. It helps you prepare. My biggest wins last year, it was what's it called? Apart from my job, down the line was DJN, what's it called? People that have secured jobs, foreign, this, and like, blah, 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 blah. Dot. But a variation of dimension with the normalized dimensions and normalized facts. What do this? You're confusing me. The normalization, I've told you what the normalization is. It's like your VLOOKUP. It's not the perfect example for it, but something like AdventureWorks now. Also, there is nothing going on my, this back in the day, I used to do LinkedIn a lot. If you're using AdventureWorks, you see something like maybe product and product category. Most times, if you've spoken to the business, there's no reason why there should be 2 separate tables. Again, in reality, on an enterprise environment, one of the reasons why you even really want to enforce star schema that most people do not say is so as not, imagine a scenario like that I painted where I said over 800 people consume your model in form of reports, analyzing Excel, different things. You really don't want to confuse them. So immediately they click on that personalized feature, it opens the model for them, your entire model, the tables. So if they are seeing product category and they are seeing products, it gets confusing. I mean, we can demo all these things. We can demo all these things. If I'm showing you, let me see, maybe there's something I can show. A sec. Trying to see. Man. Okay, let me just let me so I don't share this thing data. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what can you see?
Lanky reports.
Just
Your
sniping
sniping
stuff.
tool.
This Power BI
Awesome.
app.
Yes, this is the Power BI app. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? It goes back to what I was saying earlier. I mean, you see, I mean, there are different, you can have multiple applications. Again, I've jumped. Don't worry, I know I've jumped. Just indulge me. You can have multiple applications in an environment. One application will bundle multiple reports. Reports will serve maybe different teams, or you can even put row-level security on them and all of those things. But you can logically separate your reports into maybe departments or business functions, and each report will now have a page, that hierarchical thing. And this is why I say in an enterprise environment, you half the time you share reports through applications. So when I see people building reports with navigation or something, it's really not. Yeah, it has its place, but then it may not even be useful in an enterprise environment, right? So this, what's it called? The normalization. Normalization again is like the flip side. Is most Nigerian Power BI interview or assessment will send you denormalized tables or table. They will send you a giant table. In data engineering, we call it OBT, one big table. They send you a giant table and they now tell you, maybe in Excel or a CSV, or they host it in a Google, a cloud repo, and they now tell you to answer this business question. So they already know that you're going to normalize it. So from that one, what is it called? From that one giant table, you're going to bring out the dimension, bring out the fact. But I've seen too many influencers teach even the wrong thing that will not scale in an enterprise environment. Again, I think I've been saying this enterprise environment too much. Back in the day when I used to train a lot, I mean, my students will always just say, before I finish one thing, they just say best practice. Immediately someone asks a question and I say, according to, they will just say, according to best practice. So when they give you that, I mean, I think I even have some Flutterwave, 7up, different. Usually, they give you one giant table and they tell you blah, 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 blah. You see people duplicating that table and now reshaping. That's so wrong. And I see it a lot. I see it everywhere, almost everywhere. Like you duplicate that one table, you name it products, you remove the columns that you don't need, you remove duplicates, and you call it DIM products. You do this one, you do this, you duplicate. If you're doing that in real life, you're costing your company money, a whole lot of money. So the difference between a junior dev and an intermediate dev and a senior dev is not that a junior dev cannot build an end-to-end solution. No. That is not it. It's not that, a junior Power BI developer cannot build they cannot get data, transform it, model it, write DAX on top, share it, or put row-level security, share it in a workspace, bundle it into an app and expose it to. It's not that they can't do that though. It's just that for every of those milestones that I mentioned, the way a senior person would do it will be different from the way a junior person would do it. The senior person will do it so efficiently. It will save resources, both time, both money, both money because compute of resources, time because a junior dev, any small thing, they have to go and maintain that solution again. You see some people almost every Monday or every this thing, something has broken in their Power BI and what's it called? I always ask a question on like how do you catch errors in Power Query? Yeah, your logic, try except or whatever. People don't even know there's something like that in Power Query. Try this if it doesn't work otherwise. So there's a try otherwise, there's a try catch. In Power Query, it makes your this thing foolproof. How do you undo? I think before I asked if your schema drift, what is a schema drift? This column suddenly disappears. Maybe the data engineer did something and suddenly, or the analytics, and if you have an analytics engineer before you, suddenly did something and it disappears, or they added an extra column, or they added 6 new fields to the table you are consuming. How are you handling it? What's the difference between remove other columns and remove column? How are you handling? There's something that you do that missing field dots, ignore all those things. Do you know them? Like, there are ways to sell yourself over the next person. There are a lot of things hidden. Somebody in the beginning, when I was trying to said hidden knowledge. I think I saw it somewhere. LinkedIn optimization, getting remote jobs. There are so many, and it's not just hidden knowledge for bragging or for show off. These are, again, in life, always look for what gives you competitive edge over the next person. Oh, okay, it's only one person we need. 2 of you now. Who should I? Somebody gave me a solution where I'm seeing that if this person joins our team, the way they will be eating our Redshift server or Databricks or Snowflake. Oh boy, this person, like, how will you duplicate this query 10 times? Why? And if you have that currently in your organization and you re-architected the solution to referencing and all those things, then it can easily go on your CV, how you crashed data sets refresh times, how you saved money, how you can even put it there. There are things on my company just raised what's it called? Maybe Series A, maybe about 50 million pounds. There's a data aspect of work that I did because you need to be correct. Like, you need to come correct. You're talking about plenty money here. So when they're asking for historical data, they're asking for this, like something called data room. You need to, like, you're the BI, you need to know what you're doing. So all these tools come together to actually help you solve all those business problems. And immediately you're solving it, you're documenting it, and you're going to somebody saying LinkedIn optimization. You always have to write. Don't brand yourself the way maybe Gbenga will brand himself, because he may not be looking for job. He may not be looking for new jobs or something, or he has 4 or 5 years experience. So if he's not writing on Medium or dropping posts on this thing or this, and you are now doing the same thing, meanwhile you're just starting, you don't have the right this thing, because you need that first visibility. So you cannot just say, oh, but these people, they don't write, they don't what's it called, they don't do this. You need to constantly put yourself out there. And I know that one, we've said it a whole lot. Writing a convincing CV, maybe I'll share a template of a Power BI developer CV, what it can look like. Again, whatever I'm giving you, we are business intelligence people, data engineers, analytic engineers. If you're a very solid Power BI developer, let me tell you a secret today. You can call yourself an analytic engineer. It's just that you're using Power BI or you're using Fabric, but you're not using dbt. Again, it's concepts. What is DBT doing? Modular, what's it called? Modular models. What do they call models? What we call maybe queries in Power Queries that later materialize to tables, then to semantic models. What do they do? And they will tell you, instead of what's it called, writing this SQL again, you write a Jinja that will reference another table. So what are you doing? So if you're right-clicking a query in Power Query and you're referencing and you're now doing additional logic on it. In my what's it called? If you learned Power Query from this guy, what's his name? Ken Pauls. Ken Pauls. PU. He will tell you that in your Power Query solution, you have a raw layer, a staging layer, and the data model layer. People with engineering mindset, even while doing Power BI. So, I mean, what's the session about? I hope I'm able to answer. How to get foreign jobs? First this is my own personal bias. If you're not in Nigeria, if I conquer, it's easy. It's easier for you people that are not in Nigeria. I don't want to hear anything that Gbenga is saying. It's easy for you people. Because I see Power BI jobs a lot. The issue is, by the time it gets to geography, then they tell you +2, 3, 4. You're in Nigeria, something. And if you really impress them, they will tell you, anytime you are in the States, reach out, let us know. Like anytime you're in the States, reach out, let us know. So this life, every skill, it's a pyramid. You should always strive to top 1%. At the base is Gbogbero. For the non-Yoruba speaking people, is just the masses. And that's why most people quit. But it's a pyramid. It's a pyramid. At the top, don't let me lie to you, even though you see Excel, SQL, Power BI everywhere. At the top, there are a few. There was a night I went, I think I even put it on Data Jobs Nigeria, it should be like maybe 2 years ago or so, where one of the principal program engineers at Microsoft was stuck in asked a question on Power BI, just wondering. These guys have been following for how many years? More than 6 years. They were deliberating, and I'm like, I know this thing now. This thing is in ALM toolkit, external tools in ALM toolkit. When you are comparing, I think it was even before Fabric, when you're comparing two models, you're comparing your Power BI, the model in your PBIX to the model, to the version in the service. So ALM toolkit is an external tool that helps you do that. So if you've changed something, to just compare before you publish, before users will now start saying, oh, this report has refed out, or this report has broken, all those things. So it helps you know that, oh, you've changed this, this. So they were saying it, and it was like, so what happens? And I know that thing does a model recalculate under the hood. And I just put it there. And they were like, oh, yes. And two of them gave me thumbs. The way I slept, and it was this, I was so happy. I showed my wife. These are like people that I like looked up to. Still look up to. It's not even still look up to, but learned a lot from. And now we could even kick ideas around where I'm now even the one saying, is it not this one? I say, oh, yeah, that. So you should always strive. Again, this is not a Fela Draw to a session. I really, really apologize that there was no demo. Really, really apologize. I sincerely hope that we'll have another time when I can. But again, you can get your hands dirty and I can answer any questions that you have. The plan was to speak a little about interview. I'll take your question. We've wrapped up. We're even 4 minutes over our time. The plan was to take a little interview tips and strategies, share a little of my Power BI journey, try to get feedback from you guys and try to unblock people that maybe they have one or two, maybe it's jobs that is blocking you, or it's even breaking in, or it's pivoting. I mean, whatever it is, this burnout, now we can maybe another session. I'm not really an expert on it, but it's just to try and make time. Try and make time. I mean, there are things I indulge in. I have friends, we hang out, What else? There's friends, there's church, there's I mean, to navigate burnout. What else? There's music, there are movies, there are things to, maybe I'm not even answering properly like a professional, but don't, I mean, always take a step back. Always take a step back. I mean, what else? What's the session about? LinkedIn optimization. Again, maybe I'm even not, I don't think I'm an expert on LinkedIn optimization. There are dedicated people for that. Dedicated people that's their job. Like, you pay them a token, they will turn they have LinkedIn recruiter accounts, they will turn and I think that even sessions on it where Benga was talking about job scan and like very helpful stuff. And all those things, ATS, making ATS compatible CVs, interview questions, they are ongoing. Yeah. So I hope I've been able to. So maybe I'll share. Just remind me anything I've promised. Remind me. I'll look for articles. Can you drop on the sources you learned all these things? Because I know I know they are not easily found. I mean, yeah. Like if you're talking the real again, these people they are geeks. So except yeah,
I think it was from
the
Chris Webb. I learned that query coding. That's
oh
enable coding equals true.
yeah. So that thing is like, imagine something that simple. It will save you money. It will make you
Yeah.
a staff. I don't even just want to go directly because this call is recorded. It can even be what we make you negotiate a new salary. I'm telling you, because that thing from knowledge seeking, you solved an actual problem, actual problem. So, and when it comes to query folding in what's it called? When you're working with a database that is not SQL Server, you will see where Microsoft did plenty of Joro again. Now, you have to dig deep again to some people that have blogged about some transformations that will fold if your data source is SQL Server, that's Microsoft database or Azure SQL Server or Synapse. Against if you're working with Oracle, the same transformation step will not fold. And if you're working with, again, multi-million rows, then you are stuck because for every refresh, it has to process everything. So how then do you solve it? Some people have solved it. Again, you need to go inside to find all those knowledge. Then when you now find it, you now see that they have all sort of super rich content. Again, that will even enable, because if you're even doing cross-database folding, it goes away. There's a way to navigate it again where you are joining tables from different databases and you're making sure Power Query is still folding it. All these things, they are, you can call them hidden knowledge, but they are there. They are there. Thank you so much. ASD, please go ahead. Go ahead. Please unmute.
Good evening.
ASD. Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Good
Thank
evening.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for this class. And Mr. Benga, thank you very much for bringing him. God bless you.
Amen, sir.
I want to say, please, I don't know how to say this, but it's my reality currently. I'm outside Nigeria and I'm applying. I'm not even getting response. And I hear you say that you don't forgive people like me. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm not doing right. Please, I don't know what I'm not doing right.
I won't.
Okay, sorry.
People
Let
like
me
us.
jump on that.
Okay, sorry. Benga, go
ASD,
ahead,
contact me. I have someone that just came into Canada, like two of them. And in fact, he just called me yesterday that he just got his first interview. And he used that same method that I have on that Data Job Nigeria YouTube. This thing that we talked about CV optimization and all those ATS compliance stuff. So I will just show you some strategies because it took me 1 year to get my first data job because I didn't have that knowledge.
Yeah.
So I wasted 1 year of my stay in Canada looking for a data job. So just message me after the class. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Yeah.
I love what I mean. This is not. I mean, I know. I mean, I don't even care because some people that anytime Benga post on Data Job Nigeria, this. I mean, it might even be my own bias too, because it's just natural. It's the things that I feel are important that is posting, and I like them, and I just these are like the gaps that I've identified with people that are maybe frustrated with the job search or just feel I know Power BI now, the jobs are not there. Let me go and learn something that somebody has not heard before. Maybe. So it's really like a mindset set thing. And yeah, I like the fact that, I mean, when guys, why we are sharing all these things is so that, because people will be like, okay, you're working like this, you're doing this, you're doing this. You have to spend the number of years that you spent for me to get to this level. And I tell them, no. I tell them, like, no, you don't even have to go through the jungle for you to, and that's why some people have gone through it and they've told their own is just to come back to tell you what is important, what is noise, what is substance, and what is noise. To filter it out for you to say, oh, you don't have to. And who is an expert? An expert is somebody that has tried these things before and they know it doesn't work. So immediately you are trying it, they'll just tell you it won't work. It's not because so it's just like, oh, experts. It's because it's not as if they've done it and it has not worked. That's what they call experts. They've done it. So when I see somebody else, why are you writing your date table in DAX? Don't do that. You can put it in Power Query, put it in Power Query. A better place to put it is data flow. A better place to put it is data flow. If you don't want to put it in data flow, maybe the database. For some people from Power Query, they will say, what's it called, database. But even between database and Power Query Gen 1 is a data flow, which is where it might sit, depending on your relationship with what's it called. So questions, please. Let me just take questions for 4 minutes. I so apologize. Questions for 4 minutes. If there are any
I think
questions.
my own question is about this thing that I'm seeing recently. I don't know what it's about.
Okay.
This Power BI Sentinel data, like I don't understand what that thing
Okay,
means.
Power BI Sentinel.
Yeah, Sentinel.
Yeah, so I think they are just, I'm not 100% sure. I see the let me see. I think they are like an infra or a consulting shop that helps you manage Power BI deployment. But let me just check. Let me check Power BI Sentinel. I know it's the owner, I think maybe I even follow him on Twitter. I'm not sure. Uses the Power BI user authorization tokens to access autonomous security is managed by Microsoft.
It's for auditing.
Okay. Governance, auditing, and disaster recovery. Okay. Take action. So Power BI can elevate organizations data governance and okay.
I've shared the
So
link
it
with
looks
you on Microsoft as they have a article on it. So I've shared it with you.
okay. Awesome. I'll look into it. It looks like, because that's one, I know them from YouTube ads and from Twitter, or either Twitter or LinkedIn. I know the person that owns it, he pushes a lot of like ads on it.
Yeah.
But one thing I'm skeptical about it is what you just mentioned now. Some of this extra tooling, immediately Microsoft sees that maybe it's gaining traction, they will just roll it out as part of the native solutions that, I mean, yeah, they will just roll it out. They will roll it out. Tabular editor is slowly coming into, they will just, now you can create calculation groups. You will see there's the data query view now, that before you had to go and use maybe SQL Server Management Studio to yeah, you write or you use the Power Apps to run query against or Dark Studio to do your evaluate, blah 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 blah. But now you can, from what's it called, from inside Power BI desktop, you can do all those things that you need to query metadata from SQL Server Management Studio before, write DM views, dynamic management views, and all those things, to write like select against your Power BI model. All those things now, there are functions for it, dax.info, this one, that one, all those. So all these things, immediately Power BI sees that the extraction from the community, they will just roll it out as a native feature. But I'll look it up. It looks as if there's something involved going on there. So awesome. Yeah. Any more? So please, don't let any other data rule please kick you. Please, there are a lot of borrowed concepts from business intelligence. If you're reading if you're reading Dimensional Modeling book by Kimball, he refers to all these things as, he will write BI/DWH
Yeah,
engineers.
correct. Yes.
So business intelligence / data warehouse. So I mean, if you're a data engineer, I can talk data warehousing with you. I don't want to say I probably know it even better than you, because most data engineers now are leaning towards infra. So, and the real thing that the business needs, solving business problems, 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 solving business problems. So a star BI person is somebody that has a mix of D, and if you really want to do that story for another day, super insightful analysis or analytics, you need to have small DS, and that's why I said we are strategically positioned. If you don't want your reports to just be total sales by Clinicon, top 10, that's what I say everywhere, top bottom, bottom 10, top 10. So now you really want to do forecasting, you really want to do things, you need to be a pseudo DS guy. And if you now really want to be a great enterprise BI guy, you need to be a pseudo DE guy. You can see how we are favored as BI engineers. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Samuel. God bless you. We really appreciate you. Thank you for all the talks. I really gained something too. The part you talked about people duplicating the same query, in order to create dimensions. I think that was the first thing we did in the first day of the class, and I think I know better now. I learned something new, and I hope some people learned something new. Please, let's say a big thank you to Samuel on the chat section. Next week, by God's grace, we are starting our DAX class. We'll be starting with our what's it called? We'll be starting with row context and filter context. Then we'll move into time intelligence and all of those things. Thank you very much, everyone. See you again next week, Sunday, for the DAX class. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. My captains can stay.
Thank you very much.